What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Gimme presented by Bet365. Why the Gimme? You guys know why. Because it's good. This week, where do you think we are? TPC Sawgrass for the Players' Championship. You thought all those other events leading up to this one were big. This is the biggest event that we've had so far in 2023. I'm Jason Sobel. He's Roberto Arguello. We're going to, over the next little while, give you our favorite outrights, favorite props, first-round leader bets, our one-and-dones, etc., 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 so much more. Roberto, how fired up, scale of 1 to 10, are you for this week?
Oh, absolutely. A 10. It's one of the most electric tournaments of the year. The last 3 holes, of course, anything can happen. I can't wait to watch tomorrow morning.
One of these days, I'll tell you all about how a few weeks ago I hit 17 green with a hybrid. Well, don't hold your applause. We'll get to it later. By the way, before we go to the Gimme is presented by Bet365, the world's favorite sportsbook brand. Sign up with promo code ACTION to get Bet365's exclusive sign-up offer in New Jersey, Colorado, Ohio, and Virginia. Bet $1 on any game, get $200. Take a look at the top of the board from Bet365. Things have flipped a little bit in the last couple of days. Rory McIlroy is your favorite. They've just shifted around a little bit. He is plus 900 on Bet365. John Rahm might have been the favorite coming into this week, maybe the favorite before a couple of 76s in the middle 2 rounds of the API last week. He and Scotty Scheffler each at plus 1,000. Patrick Cantlay plus 1,600. Justin Thomas, Max Homa. We'll talk about those guys in a little bit. Both plus 2,000. That rounds out the top of the board, as we do every single week on the Gimme. We have been given $100 to fill out our portfolios. We're going to start with some outrights. Roberto, who's your first outright you got?
First outright for me, I'm going with Patrick Cantlay. Cantlay is second in birdie or better percentage on the PGA Tour this year, and he's also second in bogey avoidance. And those are some key stats to focus on this week at TPC Sawgrass. It's a Pete Dye course, so you're going to need to take on the trouble, whether it's most often water, that is correlated with the angle of the greens, which means if you want to get it tight, you've got to take some risks to be rewarded. Cantlay in those metrics, really solid. Also, 7th on tour in putting from 4 to 8 feet. And while he's missed the cut the last 3 times he's played in a full tournament at TPC Sawgrass, he does have 7 top 9 finishes in his last 14 starts at the Players, the Amex, and the RBC Heritage. And also in 2020, when TPC Saga or when the Players was canceled after 1 round, Cantlay was 5 under after the first round. So he has shown that he can play well here. I like his chances this week, and I'm getting him at 17 to 1 on Bet365. What are you starting off with your first outright, Jason?
I do like the Cantlay plays. Like you said, missed the last 3 cuts, but I think he's going to play well this week. I'm starting my card with Max Homa this week. Look, the guy just shows up week in, week out, 2 wins already this season. He's second in strokes gained total on the PGA Tour this season. As we've seen over the years, you really have to do everything well. You have to use every club in the bag here at TPC Sawgrass. And what I really like, give me a little recency bias. I know he was only, quote unquote, 14th last week at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, but led the field in strokes gained on approach shots. Oh, that might come in handy to hit your irons really well around this golf course for the next 4 days. All right, give me one more outright, Roberto.
I'm going to go with Cameron Young at 44 to 1. His numbers slid a little bit this week, and I love his combination of length off the tee and strong wedge play. He's also a solid putter as well. He's 14th in strokes gained approach so far on the tour this season, and he's also 6th in birdie or better percentage. So I like that. Also, the recent form is strong. 3 top 20s in his last 4 starts, and T26 in 7 of his last 8 starts. The only start that he finished outside the top 26 was at the Phoenix Open. But you might remember he finished second the week before that at the Saudi International. Then he had to travel all the way across the world to play in that tournament. He was tired, understandably so. He made the cut, but didn't do much with it. So I'll give him a pass for that one. He's also got some solid course history. Last year, didn't do very well in this tournament, but we mentioned it was a complete outlier with all the weather. You mentioned that they had all 4 seasons in 5 days. He had a T26 at the Amex, another Pete Dye course over there at the stadium. And then he also has a T3 at Harbortown, which is also another Pete Dye course. So I'm confident that Cam Young can put something together this week. And at 44-1, even if he didn't have form, but he does, I still think that number is too long for a guy with his talent. So I'll take a chance on the second year PGA Tour player from Wake Forest.
I'm going with my second outright. Keegan Bradley at a similar number. I've got him at 40-1. I'm actually sitting right now at the golf course in our SiriusXM PGA Tour radio booth, where 2 days ago, Keegan Bradley sat about 4 feet from me across the table that way, sat here and said he has never been more confident coming into an event that he's played. He said, usually I get to a tournament on Monday and it's, well, we got to tweak the driver a little bit, maybe switch out a wedge, maybe work on the putter, the loft and lie. He said, every club in the bag right now is perfect. I can't wait to get going. If there was a drawback on Keegan Bradley, it's that he was so confident on Monday that I'm just hoping it carries over for 7 full days. And I also think he's got some win equity. You look at a guy who's won a major championship, a WGC event, and a FedEx Cup playoff event in his career. We know that his ceiling, even against the best of the best, is very, very high. So I am buying Keegan Bradley there for an outright. This course of course, it's TPC Sawgrass. We know it. We see it every single year. You play it on video games, and yet we shouldn't look at all the data that we've seen over the last few years. And what I mean by that is last year, this event took 5 days to finish. We saw all 4 seasons, from rain to wind to sun to calmness. It was everything that you would want for 5 straight days. A lot of variables. Point is, I would not look too closely at all the data from last year. And then 2 years before that, COVID hit. After the first round, this tournament was canceled, so we can't look back at 2020. And pre-2019, this tournament was played in May, not March. So it was a faster, firmer, different kind of golf course. What does that tell us? Well, you may only be looking at 2019 and 2021 to look at correlating data going into this week. So don't dig too deep if you're doing your research. It's sort of what I'm getting at. All right, let's take a look at the player finishing position bets at Bet365. I love these because even though they're all juiced to minus 120, you can get a lot of nice numbers here. We're going to buy one. We're going to sell one. Roberto, who you buying?
First, I'm going to buy the Georgia Bulldog, Chris Kirk. I know he showed up to TPC Sawgrass with a 65-7 t-shirt commemorating the national championship this year. And I'm going to take him to finish 53rd or better. He's exactly 25th on tour this year in both birdie or better percentage and bogey avoidance. And he's first on the tour in 3-putt avoidance, which is key on those tricky, fast, and undulating greens at TPC Sawgrass. He is hot right now. He's got 3 top 3 finishes in his last 5 starts, and he's gained strokes putting and around the green in each of his last 5 starts. So as long as he continues to just find the fairways and play strong on approach, I think he'll be able to make the most of his rounds. I like him in a few different player prop markets, so this is a little bit more conservative. But if you want to play him for top 40 or something like a top 30, top 20, I think there's also value there. He's got the short game to make the most of his rounds, and I think he's a really strong play this week.
I love the Chris Kirk play, playing some of the best golf of his life right now. I'm going with Sahith Theegala. I'm buying him, and this number is criminal. Bet365. You might as well just start sending money to all your customers because Theegala is priced at 54th or better. I'm throwing 15% of my portfolio on him at minus 120. He's only finished 54th or better in each of his last 8 starts. Guys, he will not be outside the top 54. I've been telling you, I've been repeating this over and over. He's really, really talented. He's doing everything well. A couple of months ago, I looked at his stats. This is like late January, and he was actually outside the top 50 strokes gained in some of the major metrics out there. Now he's moved into the top 50. He's gaining momentum. He's trending in the right direction. This is criminal. 54th or better on Theegala. Hammer it. Who are you selling, Roberto?
I'm going to sell Cameron Davis. His game's in the gutter right now, and it's because he's got a really cold putter, among other reasons. He's had 6 straight tournaments where he's lost strokes on the greens. He's missed a cut 5 straight events. He's also been below average in driving accuracy for the last 5 events. And while driving accuracy isn't necessarily a strength of his game, his approach play is, but he's lost strokes on approach in 4 of the last 5 as well. So he's got to turn it around in a lot of different ways. He's also playing for the fourth straight week, which takes a toll. Looks like he's just trying to find FedEx Cup points any way he can.
Mhm.
And he's only played in this tournament twice, but he's missed the cut both times as well. So a lot of different reasons to fade him. And at 75th or worse, a miscut likely gets me to the window. So I'll count on him making it 6 straight miscuts, unfortunately, for the Australian.
He was one of my favorite plays last season, and something's seriously wrong. From what I hear, there is a lack of confidence going on with Cam Davis right now, and probably for good reason. I'm going to sell Tony Finau. I don't often like selling Tony Finau. I think I'll be buying him when we get to Augusta in April next month. But right now, looking at him at 30th or worse, I'm going to take 10% of my portfolio and put it on that because he only has one top 30 finish in 6 career starts here at TPC Sawgrass. I get that Tony Finau is probably a better player right now than he's been at any point previously in his career, but it's not like he was a poor player before this. He usually had a bunch of good finishes. I think he's learned how to win, but I don't think he's learned how to win or even get close to contending at this golf tournament. So I am fading Finau. That is not a long-term fade. I still like him long-term. I'm bullish, but I am jumping off of Finau this week. All right, let's give you guys a little market info. The highest ticket percentage right now is going towards Scotty Scheffler. Very interesting, 8.6% of the tickets going towards Scheffler. Number 2, Rory McIlroy. Number 3, Jon Rahm. What do they all have in common? I think you can figure that out. Top 3 on the board. Highest handle percentage. Tell me if you've heard these names before. Rory McIlroy, number 1. Scotty Scheffler, number 2. Jon Rahm, number 3. And the biggest liabilities, I wonder where Sobel's money's going. Max Homa leads the list. I swear it's not all my money. Scotty Scheffler second, Rory McIlroy third. Promise, Mom, I'm not spending that much money on Max Homa this week, even though I really do like him. So let's get to our props, our matchups, our first round leader bets, our one and done picks. We'll start with those props. Roberto, where are you looking?
I'm going to go with another rising young player from California in Justin Suh to finish top 40 at plus 187. Suh was part of that high school or that college class of 2019, including Victor Hovland, Colin Morikawa, Matthew Wolff, that was really hyped up as being part of the next wave of great players on the PGA Tour. But unlike his peers, it took a little longer for Suh to make it on the PGA Tour. Finally got his PGA Tour card this year. And to start his PGA Tour career, he missed 3 straight cuts. Not a great start. But since then, he's made 10 straight cuts and he's gained strokes total on the field in 9 of those 10 events. He's also made 4 straight top 40 finishes, and 2 of those were in designated events as well. So he's shown that he can do it not only in some of the smaller events, but also in the big ones. And people talked about this guy being one of the next great putters on the PGA Tour back in 2019. And he's finally shown some flashes of that. And he's gained at least 4 strokes putting in 4 of the last 5 tournaments. So that putter is hot right now. And if he gets it going, he's got potential to do more than just a top 40 this week. But I'll play him a little bit more conservatively with this field being really strong. But if you want to get him for top 20 in the plus 5 or 600 range, I think it might be worth a sprinkle as well.
I think that's really smart. He's a guy that I did not have in my preview material this week, but I do think that's a really smart play. Played well at the Honda Classic a few weeks ago. I'm going to go with maybe the chalkiest top 10 play that we've seen all year. Everybody's on him, which is usually a bad sign, but oh well, let's take him anyway. Jason Day, top 10 plus 300, putting 30% of my portfolio on it. I'm very confident in Day, who's all he's done recently, top 10 in his last 4 starts. Oh, by the way, he won this event back in 2016. He's got 5 career top 10 finishes. That intersection of course history and form is all coming together nicely for the former world number 1, Jason Day. I just can't see this being a bad week for him. I've filled out a million DFS lineups, and most of them have started with Day. So it's going to be a bad week for me if it's a bad week for him. So we might be going down together, but Jason's unite. I'm sticking with Day. All right, let's get to the matchups. What matchup you looking at, Roberto?
Yeah, before the matchup, love the Day play. He's also won the match play in Austin here, and he also won the PGA Championship both on Pete Dye courses, I believe. So a lot of course history, not only at Sawgrass, but also on other Pete Dye tracks. So I like his chances this week. But Another player who I like this week is Billy Horschel. He's shown that he hunts big game down there in Florida. Of course, he is a Florida Gator himself. I'm going to do a play of him at minus 120 over Gary Woodland. Gary Woodland is not playing his best golf right now. And some key metrics that he's been struggling in will be pretty problematic this week. For example, he's 206th in strokes gained around the green, which is really concerning with a place that's as tough when you miss the greens as TPC Sawgrass. He's 192nd in strokes gained putting, and we know Billy Horschel can roll a rock as well as anybody else. Gary Woodland also 141st in driving accuracy, 165th in bogey avoidance, and outside the top 170 on the PGA Tour in birdie or better percentage. Keep in mind, all these stats are out of roughly 210 players. So when you're below 150th in all this, you're in the bottom quarter of PGA Tour players. And I think Billy Ho, even though he's gone back to his old swing, I think he's still got a high enough floor, especially with his strong short game, to get a win over Gary Woodland. And ultimately, I think Gary Woodland's going to miss the cut. So if Billy Horschel can make the cut this week, I think we get to the window. So I'll fade Gary Woodland, the Kansas Jayhawk, who might be focused a little bit more on the or in the Big 12 tournament this week in Kansas City. Jason, who you got in your matchup?
I really like Ricky Fowler this week, and I really don't like Jordan Spieth. And so the matchup of Ricky as an underdog in that one is very appealing to me. I've got Ricky at even money, taking 15% of the portfolio. Ricky, of course, a past champion here as well. Not quite on the same trajectory as Jason Day, but making similar strides in that he is making a huge comeback towards relevancy once again this year. I think it's going to be a nice week for Fowler. Let the wind blow. It was blowing here on Wednesday, might be blowing throughout the next 4 days a little bit. Ricky knows how to use that traj, so to speak. He can flight his shots with the best of them. Jordan Spieth, I know he was in it last week, but there's a lot of stuff whirling around for Jordan. I don't mean the wind. There's just a lot of things happening. If Jordan's not rolling in 40-foot putts, if he's not chipping in from off the green, bad things happen, as we saw down the stretch at the Arnold Palmer Invitational. Oh, by the way, Spieth nearly won this event in his first time playing it, his debut. Since then, 7 starts, nothing inside the top 40. Hasn't been good. I'm firing on Fowler in that matchup. Let's get to first round leader bets. Let's make some money on Thursday, Roberto. What do you think?
Let's do it. I'm going to start with Siwoo Kim, former winner here. He is actually the youngest winner in Players Championship history when he won it at 21 years old. He's 27 right now, and he is in his prime. He already won on tour this year at the Honda Classic. And I like his chances this week because of his success on Pete Dye courses, not only here, but he also won the American Express in 2021, second at the RBC Heritage in 2018. And he's a player who has really strong driving accuracy. And if he just gets a spike week, or for us tomorrow, just a day on approach, he's playing in the early wave. So that might give him a slight wind advantage, but looks like he's going to be relatively windy all day. He can go low. And in 2020, when the tournament was canceled, he was in second after the first day at 7 under par. Let's see if he can go low again tomorrow for us.
I'm going to go with Sungjae Im. I'm looking for a guy from the early wave on Thursday. He's got an 8:18 a.m. tee time off the 10th tee. He gets that tough 16, 17, 18 stretch out of the way early before the wind starts blowing too much at plus 4,000, 40 to 1. I think that's a really good number, throwing 10% of the portfolio on Sungjae, who happens to be ranked 4th in round 1 scoring average so far this season. All right, last one here. One and done play. We do it every week. They're becoming very popular. And some of those office pools, some of those one and done pools, major championship pools. I'm in one. I know it's not a major. I don't call this one a major, but some of these major pools include the players with it. So we got to help the people out. Where are you going with yours?
Yeah, it's not a major, but you're being paid like a major championship winner, if not even more this week. So I'm going to take one of my big guns out, and I'm going to use Patrick Cantlay this week.
Yeah, you're going with one of your outrights. I'm going to do the exact same thing and take Max Homa. 4.5 million to the winner. You want to move up in your one and done pool? Pick a winner this week. That'll help out pretty well. All right, let's recap these portfolios real quick. Roberto's got outrights on Cantlay and Cam Young. He's buying Chris Kirk, selling Cam Davis, a prop on Justin Suh, matchup on Billy Horschel over Gary Woodland, and first round leader bet on Siwoo. I'm taking outrights on Max Homa and Keegan Bradley, buying my boy Sahith Thigala, selling Tony Finau. Prop on Jason Day, top 10. Matchup Fowler over Spieth, and Sunjay Im is my first round leader play. Remember, guys, Green Dot Daily now at a new and improved time, 3 p.m. Eastern, every single day on every Action Network platform, YouTube, Twitter, and everywhere else. Thanks to everybody out there for watching this episode of The Gimme, presented by Bet365. Remember, you can find our content on actionnetwork.com, the Action app, throughout the entire week. We'll keep updating with more. I'm here at TBC Sawgrass. Trust me, I'll be typing away and find some good material for you throughout the entire week. For Roberto Arguello, I'm Jason Sobel. Good luck with all your bets for this week's Players Championship. Here's hoping you guys the green.